Hi, this is John Solari, the host of Method Actor Speaks. And today we have three lovely, lovely ladies, two actors and a director, and future stars of the thing. And one thing I wanted to remind you of, your method is your method. Has nothing to do with method acting. It's your method. Anyway, meant to say that in the other show.
Yeah. Carrie is a still photographer.
I'm an actress, but I am a still photographer, and that's why that's my part of the project is a still photographer.
Now, what is your last name?
Cavalier.
Oh,
Isn't that a great name?
Great name especially for a still photographer.
Thank you for my mother for finding my stepdad that adopted me when I was 2. So
really?
Yes, I got a great name. I love it.
Still photographer is one of those unsung heroes you make a lot of money on the side too, don't you?
You know, not since now with the new economy. It's getting better. It was tough for a couple of years with the economy, but I've been shooting.
No, I mean on the set, don't you?
Oh yeah, it's great.
It used to be a lucrative business because
when the digital age started, of course, everybody thinks they're a photographer. There's a lot more competition, but I've been shooting for 30 years. Oh. So shooting for 30 years, I did film for 20 years, and I've been doing digital for about 10.
Wow.
So that transition was a big transition for me, but my brain still thinks film. So I think that gives me a little bit more creative edge.
Because on the set there, I mean, you're like the unnoticed one who's walking around with a camera.
Right.
And click, click, click,
yeah.
And then you always have actors, can I get a copy of that? Can I get a copy of that?
Absolutely, all the time, all the time. Absolutely. I think a third of my job is sending photos to people randomly that I meet on events, but yes.
How many of them pay you though?
Oh, I get paid for everything.
Oh, good. No, yeah. I mean when you do send it.
I'm sorry. No.
Oh,
if I meet somebody on a set and they said, "Hey, can you send me a shot of that?" It's just good. It's a good promo. It's a good way to interact and create new business for yourself. It's just a courtesy. I would never disrespect anybody by saying no if I'm at an event and they say, "Hey, get a quick shot." I just pop it off to them and. All I ask for is a thank you, really, when it comes to that. But on the actual job, yeah, you get paid on the events. But when I
know, but I always thought that they paid because I was always, I always paid extra for the shots.
Well, the thing is, it's like when I'm working with Chandra, I'm working on a job, and you meet an actor, and they say, "Hey, can you just send me a quick shot of that email?" It's just it's easier to send a quick email than to hassle with making a print. I'm too busy to make the 8x10 or send the print or charge you or PayPal it or whatever. It's just easier to just, if you meet one or two people on a job and on an event and they say, "Hey, send me a shot of that." It's not a big deal. Facebook friend them and then they remember you when something else comes up.
Are you on Facebook?
Oh, absolutely.
And do you have a website or something where people can get to you?
Yeah, I have my Cavalier Photography website, and then I also have my Carrie Cavalier Photography Facebook page and my own Facebook page. What I do is I consistently post photos of events and headshots and clients and whatever photo shoot that I do. Every day I post what I've done.
And the big difference now, today, like you've been doing it for 30 years, but since the 80s, now the difference now it has to be much easier today.
It's actually, I thought it was easier when I was shooting film. I would shoot the film, run it to the lab, they would develop it, the people would get the prints, and that was it. Now when you're shooting digital, you spend a lot of time editing. There's a lot of editing time. So, that takes up more time than it actually did before, I think. And then you get creative and you get into Photoshop and you want to change a shot from color to black and white. And so my brain is still thinking film and what I did with film, and I can transition that in digital with Photoshop. So it's kind of an interesting concept and change, but it is actually a lot more work to shoot digital than it is film. I mean,
really?
you get 5 times as many images very quickly. But you go back and you spend time going through them and editing them and looking at them and that's the time. I spent a lot of time on my butt at night on the computer. Believe me, I was up editing and I finished working on the Book of Choices, this shoot with Chandra,
Gracious War.
Gracious War.
You just did
that
this
was
past
the one,
weekend.
yeah, that we did this weekend.
Yep.
I worked on that till, I don't know, 11 o'clock last night, and then I started working on another shoot that I shot yesterday and the day before. So I went to bed around 2 o'clock in the morning. So I never had to do that before. So I don't have a lot of fun time left.
Now, how important, could you introduce yourself to the audience again?
Oh yeah, I'm Chandra Gerson.
You're the director, and we have the lovely talent over here.
I'm Dawna Lee Heising.
Okay. Now, as a director, how important it is her work to you?
Well, I am still relatively new. I haven't been doing this that often, and I'm learning as I go along, and I never really had a still photographer. Carrie is my first.
Oh, that's interesting.
And so, and I think I think it's wonderful, and I think it's very, very important for promoting purposes, but also to just, I mean, she's an amazing photographer. I mean, she's gotten shots that it's just like, you know, I knew my actors were in it, but I didn't know they were, you know, like in the beginning, you know, like I'm working with crew or whatever, you know, a problem comes up. I just, you know, I can just see it all over the actor's face, and it just, I don't know, I get moved. I know it sounds crazy, but.
No, it sounds more like what you're doing is watching dailies in still.
Exactly.
Yeah, absolutely.
Exactly.
Yeah, because all the things
That's a
that are
great way.
going on while
Yeah.
she's focused on the directing, and as they're filming, you know, I'm getting behind the scenes. So it's actually it's like watching reruns. It's going back and going,
Yeah.
oh yeah, there's this and there's that, and I'm catching. But I've been doing this for 30 years, but I will say that I'm addicted still. I love what I do, and when I'm out there, especially in a creative way, you know, I do a lot of headshots and work with actors. But when I'm working on special events, or even if I'm doing a wedding or I'm shooting on a film, there's this creative thing that's going on that I don't have anybody, that there aren't any rules. I can completely let go, and there, you know, nobody's tying me down. I'm completely set free, and I love it. When I worked with Chandra on Sunday, I got some great stuff, and then I love changing the colors and cropping it and trying different effects with it, and it's just you know, and for her to promote her pay, you know, promote her film, I'm doing the same with my photography by, you know, sharing this on my page and her page, and putting it out there of you know, my creative diversity as a photographer. And it's exciting. It's really exciting to be able to have that out.
Yeah, it's a business.
It's
all business.
It's business, but you know what?
It's pleasure.
It's pleasure. It is.
Exactly.
It's more pleasure than it is.
Exactly.
You know, when you're out there shooting and it's 100 degrees, you don't think about the heat or the bugs or any of that. I'm just, you know, I'm you know, I'm a farm girl from Wisconsin anyway, so you know, you can put me in a swamp and I'm fine. You know, as long as I got my camera with me.
So you catch all the moments that people are not aware of.
Right. Yeah. I surprise everybody.
Well, it should be that way. It's that natural and in the moment, and really that's what, and it sells on the posters and this and that.
Well, I get so excited because we worked until about 7:30 on Sunday night, and I already had it. You know, downloaded, and already had the file finished, or actually the file edited and rotated, and you know, started working on it, and I had shots sent to her by 10:30 on Sunday night, 10:30, 11 o'clock on Sunday night. Yeah. So you know, I was excited to see it. I'm excited. It excites me. It's
and what made you get into this business?
Actually, I used to be an actress. I did a lot of acting in the early 80s. I did like T.J. Hooker and Happy Days, and I was in Fast Times at Richmond High, and you know, so I was in SAG, but I mean, I worked as an actress, and there were two reasons why I got into it. One, I was working in the time that in the 80s you had to be a dumb blonde, so I wasn't a dumb blonde, so I wasn't going to go for that. And the thing is that I would be on the sets, and I had actually a hardworking actress, you know, in your teens and early 20s, and you save every dollar to go and get headshots. Well, every time I spent money on headshots, they were really horrible. And I thought to myself, you know what, I think I can do this. So I started photographing my friends that I was meeting on the set. I was charging them like $50 for headshots. This was like in 1981. And I had a knack for it. I mean, it was a gift that I had that I didn't know I had. And I actually just kind of evolved out of the acting into the photography full time in 1984, 1985. And I just I still pay my SAG dues. I can still do it. I have done it a little bit, but if I have a choice between acting and photography, I really love the photography.
So you got to work with one of my idols, Ray Walston.
Who was that?
Fast Times.
Oh, Fresh One. I don't remember the names of the actors. Probably know the characters.
He was like the principal.
Yeah.
Oh,
Didn't he play Mr. Hand?
Yes. I know exactly who you're talking about. I wasn't in that scene. I was in the dance scene. But it's funny because I have teenage daughters, and now that it's over 25 year anniversary, it's kind of iconic. So my teenage daughters go, "Oh, Mom, wow, you used to be really pretty," and I'm like, "Thanks a lot." That's what teenagers do. But yeah, it was a great experience being on the other side of the camera. I learned a lot. I worked on Blade Runner for about 2 weeks. And when you're working with great directors and great actors, I used to just sit on the sidelines and just watch the lighting, working with somebody like Ridley Scott and seeing how they're lighting and that whole effect of the fog, and just
I've
the
worked
light.
on that too.
Oh, you did?
Yeah, we must be
So, no, I mean, I learned so much, and I'm one of these people, I'm kind of a copycat. In the beginning, I was not really technical, but I would see something, and then I would try to recreate that. And then, of course, I had to learn the technical end of it. But I'm not a professionally trained photographer. I'm self-taught. I never went to school, yeah.
But, obviously, sometimes that's the best way. You learn from the best. And on-the-job training.
I see something and then I visualize it, and I remember as a kid we used to travel a lot, and I always had my face pressed against the glass window looking out of windows when I was a little kid, and I never knew that maybe was the beginning of my career, visually seeing all these things.
What made you decide that you wanted a still photographer?
Because I had worked with Carrie in the past, and I love her work, and business-wise too, I mean, this is my first feature film, so, I wanted to do as best as I could to promote it and to continue promoting it, and I just think that it's really, I enjoy it. I get to see things that maybe I missed, or I don't know.
The ideas, and yes, like I said.
Just, yeah. I mean, and I don't know. It gets me thinking, I have to see the picture, to know exactly what I'm thinking or whatever, but sometimes it helps me. Yeah. It gives me ideas, inspires me.
That's the point. I was hoping
exactly.
you would come to the inspiration that, maybe I can try this.
Right, exactly.
Costume. Yeah. How about you?
I wish you had been on the set for Salvation of One. I have screen grabs from Jeff that I think...
Screen grabs? What is that?
Stills.
Yeah, stills from the film, but she wasn't
on
the
the
set.
That's what they call it? I've never heard that expression. Screen grabs, it makes sense.
Yeah, I mean, I can see, so it actually is from the film, but she was, I think you were sick or something the day that we...
No, I never get sick.
No,
She
was there the day before.
Oh,
yeah,
okay.
I was day.
Okay.
I never get sick. I'm not allowed to get sick.
Okay.
Now, you enjoyed being photographed. And have you used any of her film?
Well, we haven't worked together yet. When I was doing
Yeah, I
stills,
just met her now.
Yeah, we know
wonderful.
each other indirectly through Chandra, through Facebook, and.
Should I give you a camera?
We but I mean, of course, I couldn't shoot every single scene or every single part of the film, but there were chosen days that Chandra had me come in and shoot. And the days that I was booked was probably the most creative backgrounds. And when we did the shoot at Balboa Lake, it was great because it was great lighting and there was great scenery, and there was more to work with. But you know.
Well, as a photographer, I just want to turn this over. And what do you think of that lighting?
Great. It's actually really good. I like it very much. Yes, I do. It's good.
I'm just showing you. It really is. It's incredible. I'm looking at it and I'm thinking, you know, the lighting, and here you are an expert, but I'm seeing, and there's, you can see this.
Right. Well, I like to use, you know, a clean lighting, shoot in the shades so I don't have any shadows. I like the shadows when I'm doing creative artistic shooting, like we're doing stills on film or, you know, special events. But
What do you mean by clean, so the audience understands that?
When I'm doing like headshots or I'm doing photos of people, stills of actors or, you know,
Right.
individual special events, when I say clean, there's no shadows. Everything is just clean lighting, as an example what you're doing on the video.
Right.
And it's more flattering for people that you don't have a splotch of light here or there. And it's funny though, because when I watch TV and there's a photographer on a set, and I'll say, oh my God, they're holding the camera. My kids will go, Mom, shut up, you can't, because like, I criticize the photographers, you know, even the extra photographers on the TV shows, because they see the way they're holding the camera. And we were watching some movie and I said, she can't shoot that. She doesn't have a flash and it's nighttime. But, you know, I'm a real perfectionist. You know, I'm kind of a quiet perfectionist. I see things and I look for detail, and you know, it's a reflection of myself, and I want it to be the best that it could be.
Now, when you look at her, what would you lighting?
I would use, of course, I would use bright, clean lighting. I would use a dark background to bring out her hair and her features.
Dark back. Okay.
Yeah, I would like to use, and maybe even backlighter.
So if someone has light hair, you want the dark background?
Yeah, I want the opposite. Yeah, so that you can have a contrast in the photo.
Yeah. And when you see the set being, do you help this? Are you there to help with the set being lit, or can?
No, that's set up by the crew. They do what they have to do, and I'm just there to do the coverage.
But you understand that?
I understand it, absolutely.
And do you ever? I mean, do you see things that you don't like? I'm not talking about her set.
Well, you know, the thing is there's times when I see something that I don't like, but it's really not my place to say something. But the thing is, it's also, things have changed so much in our industry that it's a creative idea. You know, something may not be technically correct, but it can be creatively correct. You know, you can have harsh light, which is you may think of as being, you know, not technically correct because the light is really harsh, but it gives the effect of the character in the film, or you know, in the final production of what you're doing. So, you know, there's a fine line on that. If you're doing stills and you're doing headshots, you're doing pretty photos, family photos, you want everything to be perfect and the lighting to be perfect. It's a whole different concept. And that's the great thing about photography. It's so diverse. You know, you can go from one end of the spectrum to the other, and it's really hard to say what's right and what's wrong when it comes to creative photography and stills on a film. It's a whole different idea.
Now, both of you, how familiar are you with lighting? And I have a feeling you are too, because
not taking pictures, but
but lighting and what's your good light? And
I know how important lighting is.
Are you aware of that on the set? I mean, the camera angles and.
Well, not when I'm acting. When I'm acting, I'm just really in character. So, you know, it's really up to the director how they want the lights. But when I take pictures, I mean, I'm still a swimsuit model, so I know. In fact, I just had a shoot with my friend John, and he was trying these bodybuilder shots where your body's all dark, and then your face is lit, and it just, I mean, you know, it looks like those fitness pictures, but I just didn't like it because I'm just used to bright light everywhere.
Oh, I know what kind of concept she's thinking of. It's kind of like the old Arnold Schwarzenegger type photos where what they do is they do the contrast lighting where they're actually shooting like with a tungsten. They're using one single cell light, and what it does is it accents, and the effect of that is they're trying to accent the shadows in the muscle. And so that's what, you know, when I've done like covers, like CD covers, artist covers, to do something creative of an artist. Also, when I've done like nudes, or I've done like kind of like boudoir, or like a Victoria's Secret's kind of an idea, I will use like a single tungsten light that focuses on certain parts of the body. So for instance, if I've got a woman and I'm doing more of a like a chest up type shot, by using that single light, it adds more of a contrast and a shadow to the cleavage, so it makes the, you know, the breasts look more, you know, pronounced, and so there's different ways of lighting.
I heard that.
You know, there's different ways of lighting, but
What kind of lighting is that?
it's like a single, you know, like a single lighting, like a tungsten lighting. It was the whole
For
idea
the men
of
out
that.
there, what
It was-
lighting is that?
accent.
Accents on the accessories.
Well, that was actually the whole effect that Harrell did back years ago when he did Marlene Dietrich. It was a single light, and he did that, and he was very famous for
Right.
doing the photos of
Black and
Marlene
white.
Dietrich, and also Marilyn Monroe, and it was just a single light. And I've actually reproduced, I actually have a light like that, and I've done that with one client I did for a CD cover. She was an artist, and her music was like a 30s, 40s nostalgia music, and I photographed her with that type of lighting and recreated that lighting. And the effect of that lighting makes everything look completely flawless. It has to be dead on, it has to be straight on, and when you use it close up, it just kind of like everything is pure. It blows you out completely, but it also adds a contrast effect to it because the light is so harsh. So if you go back and you research photos of some of those photos that were taken, that very famous photos by Harrell, that was the idea. He made these people look absolutely like Jean Harlow. There was a great famous photo of Jean Harlow. So if you look at those photos, I get ideas. I just would go through magazines and get ideas of how things were lit, and then I would say, okay, I'm going to move the light over here. Now I can recreate this, or I can do this. But what she's talking about with the body shots is that if I would have been doing that, I probably would have shot her separately with full light to show more of a flattering, clean light for her figure, because she's not going to have the same muscle tone and the same kind of accent on her physique that a man, the man that you've got the severe muscle tone. With the woman, it's more of a soft idea. So I would kind of have gone the other way, one way with the guys and another way with the girls, and maybe not even shot them together.
Wow. And so did they turn out to your satisfaction?
No.
No. Okay, no, okay.
No, I mean, you know, it accentuates a six-pack, but I was doing them for Bikini Magazine, so it's obviously not the effect that I wanted.
Oh. You sound more like you should be a DP, too.
Me?
Yeah.
Oh, well, you know, I've been on the set. I've spent years on the set on the other side of the camera as an actress, and then on this side for 30 years as a photographer, and I kind of overlap. So I have been in the business probably about 35 years. I've learned a lot. Someday I have a lot of ideas.
But I mean, did you ever think about becoming a DP?
There's a lot of things I think about doing. I want to be cloned. Absolutely.
Because you have all this knowledge, and I would think someone like
well,
you would
maybe
be.
That's why I hired her.
Chandra
Is
and
she
I
doing the DP too?
No.
Chandra and I had worked together on some screenings for some of her short films. She had me come in for the special events of the screenings of
That's
her
how
short
we met.
films, and that's how we met years
Yeah.
ago. And we had a nice relationship from the beginning. I'm very professional, very business professional, but at the same time, I'm very meticulous at my work and producing the product immediately. I just want to be the best that I can be in everything that I do. So, I mean, who knows? Maybe someday we'll do a film together and I'll be the DP. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, it
Who
sounds.
knows? Yeah.
I mean, it sounds so natural that you would evolve into a DP.
Well, good. Sounds
Yeah.
great. Tell me where to go.
Well, you have a director in your next film.
No, I love shooting. I love doing stills. I really do. I love it. I have no limitations with photography. My actual mascot for my Cavalier photography is a chameleon, and that's how I see myself, because I don't limit myself in any type of photography work, whether it's, you know, photographing frogs or doing weddings or just shooting movies, or I do a lot of animal photography myself personally. I just love being able to reproduce what I see through my own eyes.
Wow. That's really, I mean, you're the first, actually you're the first photographer I've ever talked to in length. And to have you on the show here for the audience
Thanks.
to hear this is really a gift.
I think it's a gift. I believe it's a gift.
No, I mean, it's a gift for us to hear this.
It's a gift for me.
You know, to hear this. I mean, this is what you liked. I'm so happy you invited her. This is one of those...
Thank you for having me.
No, really, I mean, because it's really, there's so much knowledge there and so much inspiration, and you could tell that you know how much you care about what you do.
Oh, I do. I really do.
Which is, you know, it's more of an art for you than a business.
Well, I make a living at it, but I don't think there have been times when people have come for photo shoots and I've said, oh, but I got to pay you. And oh yeah, that's right. You know, I mean, I know it's how I make a living, but that's the last thing that I really think about. I'm so involved in, I mean, even when I worked with you on Sunday, you said, oh, by the way, here's your check. Okay. You know, I think of I'm thinking about the creative value and what I'm going to produce, and you know what's going to happen, and I get real excited and kind of, you know, pumped up about it. So that's what I think of is what the end result is going to be.
Yeah, and I think it's really important, and that's why I like to surround myself with people like Carrie, because I think that passion is like the biggest key factor in good work.
Always.
You know what I'm saying? And it's just, you know, you can really enjoy doing something, but there's a big difference between passion and just enjoying.
Absolutely.
You know?
Absolutely.
And I think that it shows through in your work and just everything. So
that's an interesting statement. If I could just cut you off there for a minute, when you say passion, you know, equals good work, I don't believe in that.
Oh, okay.
I think you could have you know, you could be passionate, I think, about something,
right,
and not be good.
This is true. This is no.
This
You're
is one of the-
absolutely.
No, I know what you're saying. I mean, but I think more so somebody who's really passionate about something 90% of the time is going to be good at it, because they're going to strive to be the best that they can be, because they have such a passion for it. They're not going to just go, oh, I'm just going to just do it. I mean, I think sometimes being impulsive can be very creative. I mean, there's times when I'll see something and my client will turn or move and I go, wait, stop, don't move. There's something just happened right now. I've got to try to reenact this and catch this. But I really do agree with Chandra that, you know, 90% of passion goes along with you know, having a great result.
I agree with that, but I mean, it could be the opposite. You know,
No, you're absolutely correct.
what I like about your passion is that it's the beginning where you observed. So you were willing to sit there and observe on the set. That's where the work is developed. Because there's a lot of passion out there. They'll do a sex tape or whatever, and to get on, you know, to get on camera.
Right.
So that's what I'm trying to point out.
Well, yeah, I mean, I remember
You know,
when I would work on shows and I would be on the set and we would have a 6 o'clock call and it'd be midnight and everybody would be complaining about leaving. And I would just be sitting there watching, you know, because, you know, when Ridley Scott had one of my favorite movies when he had done Alien, and I think Alien was before Blade Runner. And I was so mesmerized by the way that, you know, he would create this weird lighting with the fog machines and everything. I mean, this was 25, 30 years ago, so they didn't have the digital special effects that they have now, where a lot of it is all done in the lab. But here, I mean, there was something that I was seeing. I was so excited. It's like, you haven't eaten. I don't care. I want to stay. I want to watch. You know, and it was great.
Well,
And that's the
great.
way I felt. This is the way I felt about working with Chandra when I had the opportunity to work with her on her film. You know, it's great when I get out there because I don't know what's going to happen, and I just start watching and I start seeing things, and my brain starts going, and it all falls together. I mean, I could go for days.
I believe you could, and I want to. This has been a gift. We're going to come back with part 2 in one moment, okay?